Beep, 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 beep. Hi. If there's extra noise in the background, there's a rock tumbler going. It's very, very, very loud. Okay, so I rebuilt everything and I got it fixed. It now logs in. So, I got to kind of tell myself, wait a minute, am I actually going to use 32-bit anything on this computer? Because, I mean, it was originally bought for me by my now husband for my college stuff when I was still in college. So, it kind of just needs to do the stuff that a college student might need to do. You know, browse the internet, use an office suite, maybe do a bit of emulation with something like Gimo. Gimo? How do you say that? I don't know. I burp. Anyway, so we have it back up. We have it working. So now that we have it working, we are going to go and take a little looky-loo at doing the next steps. Let's see. What do we have to do? Let's see. I'm squinting now. So, you notice I have not made home yet, if you are following along. That is because boot already exists, as does EFI. Because, properly speaking, EFI does not get mounted inside a boot. EFI is its own thing, but only if you have two separate. Okay, let's try this again. So, the EFI partition gets mounted at boot if it's the only boot type partition. It gets mounted at EFI, which is at root, if there's also an extended bootloader partition, which is slightly different, but related to how you can boot with GPT partition tables. It's a little weird and funky. It basically separates the EFI specific portion of a bootloader from the general portion, which is like the kernel and RAM disk and stuff. It's neat. I don't really need to do it here, but I felt like it. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, the directory stuff in here. Let's see. Etc. Alt sysconfig. Nope. Oh yeah, for redoing it, I basically had to rip out lib32 and then point lib64 to lib, and you know, everything works now. Still don't have to do any subcommands to fix it, because it doesn't need fixing. Let's see. But if I do a multi-lib setup in the future, I'll probably have to actually do the same thing as here. Lib and lib64 are basically synonyms to each other, and lib32 is the actual 32-bit specific stuff. Whew, so that's fun. Let's see. Media. Nope, funky. Floppy CD-ROM. Okay. FP. User local. Include source. I'm going to be using that source folder in the next chapter. Not this chapter, next chapter. You'll see how I use it when I get there. Let's see. Yeah, that should be user locale. It's only in one spot. Interesting. That should be user local. Nope. Bind lib. things are local, I plan to just have like things that aren't really up to date or personal projects or games. Because, realistically speaking, I don't need games in the rest of the installation. So, you know, let's start it there. Oh, yeah, it's still like 11 at night for me, so it'd be a yummy thing. Let's see. Is there a go? Oh, jeez. Is there a key? I thought I fixed that. Jeez. Trying to do a type and it doesn't want to work. That was close. Okay. Color it. Info locale. And this term info. Zone info. Boop. C DRSPV user local. Nope, wrong key. These keys. Share man eat. DRSPV. Var cache local log mail opt spiel DRSPV var lib color misc locate C SFA run var run. There we go. SFA run. Nope. Lock var lock. Am I hearing something? Okay, I think that's my happy watching videos over the sound of the rock tumbler, which makes everything really confusing. Install dash VDM 0750 root. See, install dash VDM 7 and far temp. Okay. The P option to make dir is basically if it doesn't exist, go create it, and also it allows for making nested structures. Like you'll make whatever doesn't exist on its way down to the farthest level. Yawn. I go yawn. Alright, let's see. SSB. And tab. Okay, we are going to avoid doing that, so. There we go. I have a bad habit of mumbling my passwords to myself. So I have to just like hold my mouth shut. CSD. This. And now Sarah host. I ain't using cats. Goddamn no. 1, 2, 7, host. Let's see. I know what it is. I know what my name is generally. upside down. There we go. See? I remembered. And this and wait, you can't see this screen. Right. So this file, the next one, are why I am not even close to about to use cat. You make one mistake and you basically have to rewrite the entire thing without utility. And it's like a bash function too. At least here, if I mess up, I can just use keys to go back to it. It's a lot easier. And I don't know why the editors assume that you can't do it this way unless it's specifically to support doing it as a oh, come on, no one needs to type. There's a semi-maintained tool to like build links from scratch without any actual user input, so it could be in support of that, but it's still not great for those of us who, you know, are retyping it manually like this. Yeah, and I've got like, how do I say this? 4.1 days or just over half a week of music in my library total. And I think this playlist has now been trimmed down to 3.1 days of music. If I somehow can't use any of it on Twitch or YouTube because of copyright, then I think the system will be busted. And we can like declare it actually at that point message Damon user on the bus user buying false. I got a ping. I'm going to do a puzzy and go run over here. I gotta respond to hi Kira. Okay, yeah, if you can hear me at all at some point, I just have that crappy of internet, and I am just like, I'm just doing this anyway. Maybe someone will watch on like, you know, really bad latency. Yeah, I don't expect to actually like interact with you at all, just because of circumstance. I'm sorry. Where was I? I was babbling about music and messages and trying to type this shit out by hand. System the journal gateway X3. You know, most of what I've had to pull off the playlist is basically like the old stuff. I've already had to remove Rush and Iron Maiden, also the soundtrack to K-pop Demon Hunters, which is sad, and I had to pull out the Monster Cat stuff. It's like anything published by someone major, like a major record label, ends up having to be pulled right now. But if it's not, or like it's self-published, then I haven't had problems so far, according to YouTube. So, the journal gets away. Nope. No, I really cannot type and talk at the same time. My God, I can like mutter to myself, but I cannot usually type and talk at the same time. I need to learn that about myself. Let me do that right. No, Moat. Jeez. That, yeah, I should probably shut up for a bit and just like type this out. Nope. That much. Yeah, there's only one spot where the root is like different than where the home is different. Let me see if math has Mel gives no shits. Okay, Mel gives no shits. I better try to. Wait, no. Here. Float this window. Let's see if I can get a line to Twitch, because now I'm a little buggered by that. Yeah, my my bit rate is in the goddamn dumps right now. If anybody's trying to watch, I am sorry. Windstream sucks. If you can avoid Windstream, please do. Because it's just like, I basically got no goddamn internet, even though it's the middle of the night. That's how bad it is out here. Doesn't help that we're also like the middle of goddamn nowhere almost. It won't be so bad being almost the middle of nowhere if it didn't also mean that people basically didn't care about how badly we're actually served with things out here. Okay. Let me do a save. I do like that they updated some of the keyboard shortcuts on here, and also added Control S as an actual option. Because doing Control O, it works if you need to set a name, but Control S is way more natural from anybody coming from Windows, or even anybody coming from Mac, because you use Command S there. I'm trying to double check my work. Me squinting says this is all correct. I'm going to exit. Okay. Ah, it's a long pile. Right, because it's got a lot of extras. Okay, let's see what I can do. Alright. This is technically an easier file, but it's got way more lines, so it's kind of like balanced out. X2, K1, X3, tape, X4, DTY, X5, Damon, X6, floppy, X7, disk, X8, OP, X9, dial out, X10, audio, let me spell audio right, radio, X12. Some of these groups probably don't need to exist anymore, like tape or floppy. I don't think tape or floppy has really been a standard feature for years. And from there, I don't know why some of these aren't just combined with, say, a group called hardware. And then a lot of this is just like legacy crap that we're just not gonna bother updating it to but that's annoying, but at this level it's also things I can't really change without breaking like my entire system, because packages still expect things to work a certain way. DLC, please be quieter. Thank you. Thank you. I need to hear myself talk a little bit. Here. Thank you. You're probably drowning me out a little bit. Yeah, some of these scripts are just like ancient. X24. Like, who needs a separate group for the mail? Why would you even need a separate group for a mail server? One. Also, in this context, KVM does not mean keyboard, video, mouse. It's some. I think it's one of those subsystems that actually controls virtualization these days. Or it's actually like a low-level hardware thing. But it's not actually related to the words. It's not related to KVM switches. That's the biggest thing. Okay, let's see. As much as it sucks that one company has once again gained control over much of what the space does, I will say at least Red Hat and Systemd are actually like trying to make standards. Big working ones anyway, because let me try to type this out. I have looked at some of the standards that govern Linux and Linux type stuff, and the only one that's really decently up to date is POSIX, and actually anything that either Oracle or Red Hat manages. Everything else is a massive ass patchwork of, it's either a decade old or 2 decades old, or it hails from basically when Unix and Linux and all that started, or it just never had a standard, so there's like 20 different versions of our all of which are in like various states of maintenance or non-maintenance. I think one of the other groups that's actually trying to get things, you know, semi-standardized and working on modern hardware is Steam, because they have a vested interest in getting display and video drivers to work. So anything that manages displays needs to be now nice and updated. Anything that runs video cards needs to be nice and updated. I think what I remember hearing some time ago is that they're the reason Wayland's actually started pressing forward with like actual progress instead of basically cherry picking what people want to work on and not caring that most of what's needed is half broken. Where it's not so good. Card dump. But the basic idea is that, unfortunately, in Linux land, if we didn't have some of these companies start taking over to a certain extent, there wouldn't be nearly as much progress even getting modernized as there has been in just the last decade even. I don't care, I'm changing that. They want to set it to 999. No. I don't even understand why they do that. Just, no. We're not gonna do that. Okay, let's see. Exec, user, login. There we go. Oh, must be some in the wrong spot. There we go. Right area. Okay. Now that we're back in the right terminal section, front, touch, log, temp, left log, tail log, right simp, check, grub, dash temp, fire log, last log, must be 664, fire log, last log, and jmod dash 600, log, so like the only one that's actually not currently about to be broken is the fail log, because the others use 32-bit timestamps, and we only have 13 years left before we have the 2038 bug. And a lot of packages have already stopped using them from what this note says. Other packages are still moving away. So honestly, the only reason they're here is for those last few packages that are still like using it. But we shouldn't count on them existing too much longer in any use states. Let's see. So officially we don't have to do much in here for this chapter. Let's see. -b, get text, tools, source, MSG, FNT, MSG, merge, next get text, and yeah. So one of my fake candles for ambiance around me. You can't see it, but I can. And I want it to be there. Because otherwise I just have computer screen. And it's not as nice. And now, see. I'll share a story about, even though I saw it like 10 minutes late. Let's see, nothing popped in here. Bit rate still 6. Okay, back to mode. And now. Yes. Oh yeah. So, my tablet actually went to sleep. You can see that. Alright. So, I kind of lost the work we did the first night we started animating. So instead, we did a different system. Everything's in its own file instead of trying to do it all in one, in various layers. Yeah, we've got a crouch animation. He fits into 64 by 32, like width by height. And we've got a dying animation where he's just all plooped on the ground dead. What's the next one? Eating. Ah, great. Give me guidance, because so let's see if we can get the keyframe of, hey, this is where his head is going to be. Like assemble him from there. And part of the changes, oh yeah, that's the old leg. Wait, no, is that the old leg? No, that's the new leg. Okay, we delete that one. Yes, we delete that one. Okay. It does not like cooperating with me. Let me change it to right there. Nope, come on. There we go. It's a little easier for me to deal with. Okay. First, we want to duplicate this frame. So, yeah, this frame is technically going to be like the basis of everything else. Okay, we're about to get really weird here. Okay. No. This neck should probably be more like here. No. Whoa. What did I just do? Huh? I haven't the faintest idea what happened there. Okay. Let's get my onion skinning back on. That just broke devastatingly. Okay. So I want his head to go here when it lands. Like, no, 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 no. Okay. Let me just move his head back for the moment, and we're going to not see the rest of him for a bit. Okay. Yeah. Using the tool, he has to have his head cleaned up. We kind of just want the basic idea of the angle here. Because we also have to open his little mouth. Okay. No. Shoot. Aiming him's going to be a challenge. I still need to add a Lumia command for, Echo, pay attention to the other screen, because it stopped doing things. Okay. That's roughly start. So he needs his head twisted a little bit. Little bit. Or maybe more. Okay, reset his head so we can have a clean start. Okay. Because we also have to do no. Oh, jeez, let me skip this. It's too early for Christmas. We've got like a month left. Okay. So, that's something to pull out of the stream. Let me search this list by album here. You're not going to see it because it is like my private, it is my private music collection in somewhere else. We're going to fix this. Let's see. I guess it's, here you are. Thank you. Thank you. Remove from playlist. I'll export you later. You're currently being used by something else, so it can't be exported Yeah. Even though it's a music soundtrack, I should probably go ahead and take out the other album that happens to technically be Christmas music. Where are you? You're hiding in the caves for Klaus. It's a good movie, by the way. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but it's a good movie. One more part. From so we're gonna have to unlock the tablet again. I shall see the luck and the stuff and and words I cannot. Ugh. Yeah. I'll probably have to resave it anyway because there's a decent chance I'll have to take out more songs once YouTube says, yeah, no, that's copyright, that's copyright, that's copyright, that's copyright. Like, officially, none of it's a strike yet, but the way they are, they'll still, like, make it an issue if you don't, like, address it later. Let me go back to, where was I? I was doing things. Yes, see, it locked. Okay. No. Your entire existence is just wrong. Okay. Let me see if I can place teeth first. Okay, we've placed teeth. You've placed the great big teeth first. Go, get out of there. What's not helping is that all of this is in bad need of cleanup after being jostled around. Jeez, it was just my husband blowing his nose, I think. See, I'll move you here. I'm lazy, I'll just do the dropper all the time. No. See you. Oh, shoot. Okay, do an undo. Crap on you. Now save. Good, thank you. There we go. Let me fix the shape of you first. This. That's part of it I need to like redraw the eyeball there. heck, went a little further. Great, wrong color. Good text takes a while to compile. Okay. I tend to cheat a little and just kind of like reverse the frames to go back up. This is kind of the easy part about the other one that I did. It was just super hard, the dying one. All you had to do was basically go flooped on the ground. This I had to actively like bring him back out of eating. So I'm not looking forward to that. Now I need to work on another layer too. So really only part of him needs to twist at this point. Damn it, okay, just that. Okay, so this part will bend forward. Oh gosh, it's mangled so heavily. Maybe I moved him too far down. Okay. Is it obvious I don't really know what I'm doing animating dinosaurs? Hey, something I do know about has actually finally finished. It is ready to move on to the next step. Okay, let me grab the keyboard for this again. Let's see. Let me do Yes, I do want to click that link. That link specifically. That link exactly. Yes, let's see. You know what? Let me jump to meld and show it fully. Yeah. Stall. Okay, let's see how long it takes for that to work. Meanwhile, we'll just muddle along. Am I going to redo all of this? Just like delete the entire frame. Let's see, standing, no, standing, no, standing, no, standing, no, standing. Not so bad. Which we have no idea to ta. Okay, Bison's done. I think someone is taking a shower. I smell shower things. Some card. Let me check on you. Yeah. Let me just close you. Go down. Okay. You. I have to say, I really hate trying to type this one out because it's like 6 options that are very close to one another, and unfortunately there's no way to get around putting it in at some point. Doesn't help that it's such an awkward ass naming scheme. Oh wait, you know what Perl is? It's a regular expression processor. It is an entire language based on processing regular expressions. And that's spitting out information. What was I doing? I was bitching about Perl. Difference between any of these anyway? There's user, there's privileged library, there's a, wait no, there's a private library, there's a arch library, then there's site versions for those, and then vendor versions? Like, what do I have to cite in vendor versions? Well, the ways that, oh, we're not distribution. I hope the editors never bothered to smoosh these down then. Vendor pieces. That doesn't help very much. So what is vendor like packages, and site is like just things the operating system installs, but they're Perl scripts, so they go with Perl? Or what? No. Did I type all this right? This is one of the parts where it's like really dumb to type out. Okay, I think I did. I hate trying to work on this. At least on commands like that. Okay. Come on, cables, work with me. I have too many cables sometimes. Toss my pencil. Okay. Let's do it like this. So let's do some rough tracking. I make groaning sounds. Unless I don't have much else I could do besides like design the game. But I might have to pass through the hall mirrors for that. You know what I am going to do though? I'm actually going to take Lesser about suggestions and actually go like take a break. Oh, wow, that messed up. Okay, there we go. Anyway, everything down. Yeah, breaky time. Click this, and now I meet. I think I have to redo my progress on this. Because here's my logic. I think. Wait, oh, you're playing Christmas music. Still too early, but can't update your playlist yet. Let's give that to. Sure, yeah. Let me get back. Okay. I think I have to actually end with his mouth closed, but evidence of teeth. On his way down, he has his mouth open, or he opens his mouth and closes it as he comes to the bottom. Oh man, this is a lot of frames. This is going to be a lot of frames, like a lot of them. And I thought the tying animation was hard. Ugh. And I still have to do a walking and a jumping and an open and a jump. Juice. Okay. Pearl has been built. I have built the husband, who is in fact still watching TV and so is technically disrupting my entire stream, but I get such crap right anyway on Twitch's side. I just, realistically speaking, I could do this as only a record, and I don't think anybody would actually notice except for, hey, yeah, this thing is unedited. They're just babbling out their thoughts like crazy. They're so unprofessional on their streaming and their recording. But yes, I wish to emulate old YouTube and old Twitch where we were unprofessional. We did not do things professionally. There was no standard for it. Because it was more human then. It wasn't dull. It wasn't just a freaking business model to do. Cool. Shared out and share hip about static Python. Is that right? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yes. There. So you're going to do that. Okay. So, since I am decently sure we have to redo this, much to my chagrin. Shaking. Steady unlock. And we're just going to delete the frame. Okay. Now we duplicate the frame. And we start over. So, get off that. Make sure we scan this on for my reference. Okay. Anything that's below the canvas when I exit will actually be erased, so we'll use that as a quick little hack to do erase there. Let's start fixing all this. There's a little button here that I think is supposed to be attached to the palette, which is like right over here. And it does really weird things if I just click it. No, not that one. Oh, here. Maybe one square so we can cut the color here. That's mostly okay at this time. It's like as soon as the collision box hits, he goes, "Ow!" So it almost looks like he's doing a run, you know. I am not. Okay, Python's installing. We can give my brain another break from what do I do about animating and eat? Okay. I might also have to realize that, where am I going? Here's where I'm going. I need to realize that this is supposed to be an arcade game, not necessarily realism. Maybe I can get away with just making it look like it's an eat. Wait, I think you're installing. What are you doing for? It's not even installing. Oh. Doing a lot of extra stuff to install. Okay. It's weird, but whatever. Okay, let's see. I think we're almost done with this chapter. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead and the thing you cannot see here. Yeah, we've got one more package and then I'm going to take the effort to save our little baby system. Can I dip me? Okay. Yes. I have to do something specific after. You're going to be a bit because you're still building text info. I'm jumping ahead, like, in a way you cannot actually see or identify because I'm not wanting to show it. It is like part of my personal stuff. And also, I'm hoping that some things will be quick. Let's see. Please hurry up on the install. I would like to at least get all of this done tonight. And then the next week we can start building the system. Because completely redoing you actually went faster than I thought. It was all in one day. Because I kind of like kept at it and punched it today. I got a chance to punch it. Sort of. I'm realizing there's a lot of things I say that I'm basically the only one who understands it. I would hope you couldn't change locale because I haven't generated any yet. Relinking all these things, and there we go. Nope. Okay. Till. X, okay. Nope. Come back here. I mean, it wouldn't matter in this case, except for like not having it scattered to. But no, it won't be scattered to the winds. It's really all the same directory. However, the argument for this switch is actually to keep it from running off to somewhere literally outside that folder through any other avenue. Because it could try to do that. It could try to use like libexec, which we may not actually want. There we go. Got all that typed out. Okay, I'm gonna have my chinky. Ow. Let's see. I'm looking at the page about cleaning and saving the temp system. And it says you can save about 35 megabytes by deleting the currently existing documentation files. It's like, that's really something, I guess. Like, what did you do? I could delete the whole 35 megs. Deleting the tools directory and the new system root is slightly better. It gets rid of like a gig of used space. Let me see. Let's see, now I have and1. I have how much space? I have a terabyte on this drive. And you can see how it's set up here by chance. So, first off, I can't seem to think straight. Second off, I have kind of modeled it after some of the old ways you used to do it with the master boot records, where you prefer to have any boot related partition first and then do anything else you want and then swap like last. That's kind of an organizational preference. It is not mandatory at all. There's nothing saying you're going to have your boot sectors or your boot partitions at the end of the drive. To me, it's just weird though, because it's supposed to be the first thing you bring up, so it should be at the beginning. Yeah, if I is the first one, the extended boot, which is more closely analogous to a traditional MBR boot type partition than even the EFI one, is next. You've got your root and your swap. The x86-64 designation on the root is very important. That actually indicates the proper root, so that it can be found without needing a file system table or any sort of like a root option passed to the kernel. I am running out of steam. Maybe I should not be doing 3-hour streams, you know? Especially not in the middle of the night when it is 1 o'clock my time. Let's see if I can get this out. So, by the discoverable partition spec, or discoverable device spec, it's got one of those names. A modern day bootloader should be more than capable of bringing up an entire system without needing a root option passed to it or to the kernel, and that it doesn't need a root option passed explicitly to the kernel in your bootloader like setup or configuration, and it should not need a file system table to tell it what everything is. It should be capable of just reading the partition type, which is done based off of UUIDs, like at the partition type level, I think. I'm going off of memory, and I'm also starting to get fried, if you can't tell. But basically, if the entire disk is formatted correctly, you don't actually need to pass identifiers to the Linux kernel at all. The bootloader will do that after it comes up from the EFI partition. The limit is that it only works with the same like character device. Like you can't do this with multiple disks. If I had uh, trying to do this while I'm running out of steam. If you had 2 drives in one laptop, like you have a really stupid fancy gaming laptop and it somehow has 2 drives like installed inside, not on USB or anything, you could only use one of them as your root. You could only have root partition across one of them unless you set up some sort of RAID device, because the EFI partition is not going to care what's on the drive of any, or what's that. Man, there goes my words. The EFI bootloader will not care what's on any other drive but the one it booted from until it's already set up root. So if you're trying to have your bootloader on one partition of one drive, but your root is on a partition of a different drive, it's going to freak the fuck out and say, no, this is bullshit, and you're gonna have a brick system. So yeah, it has to find root on the same disk, device, whatever. Otherwise, yeah, as long as I can find root and then find user, I think user has to be on the same device too. But yeah, after that, it'll basically start finding and mounting everything automatically. And if you really do need to have everything on separate disks, then that's where you need the traditional file system table, and you gotta pass things to the kernel and stuff. But if you don't need anything really super weird, you just, you don't need your file system table, you don't pass anything to it, and you just say, okay, bootloader, load this kernel, and it'll start spitting everything out. Part of why I do use systemd in this case is because it includes a bootloader to do exactly that. The systemd project took over the Gummy bootloader project, and it got renamed to systemd boot. And yes, there was much outcry over, you ate the bootloader and incorporated it. You shouldn't have so much control over that systemd. Never mind, it's basically in that fucking name. Alright, let's keep going. I have rambled and ranted and lost my train of thought like too many times already. That's mainly just the problem of how tired I am. Okay, let's go around here. Share. Info. And dot. Oh yeah, there's also a note about you don't want the current documentation to end up in the file system, and also 35 megs. Okay, it all started because I was laughing at the, yes, we'll save a whole 35 megs on a terabyte size drive. Better key. Now, on my old drive, that would have mattered a lot, because the old drive on this computer was 128 gigs. Part of why I had to actually start installing Linux on this thing was because I cannot afford a Windows license, and I do not want Windows 11 on my personal devices, like, at all, ever. My husband is less technologically inclined, so I'm willing to let him use it if I can basically figure out how to disable all the Copilot AI shit. But otherwise, my stuff, no. We ain't doing that shit. Also, honestly, the more important thing that I already mentioned, I can't afford a new license for Windows at all. Like, an old Windows 10 license or the new shit Windows 11. Despite where I work, I'm basically dirt fucking poor. I'm like modern poor, where, yeah, house bills are eating most of my money and I don't have shit left for anything else. Although, based on gross, I'm like technically middle class because I don't officially need assistance or some shit. Even though, no, if you look at all my bills after the taxes are taken out and the healthcare is taken out, and I pay all my bills, I don't actually have that much left every paycheck. But most people don't give a shit. Anyway, that's my personal life. You don't need to hear that much more ranting on my personal life. That would just get too weird for a stream. Whatever a stream gets through. Okay. And now exit. The bonus of using a script to actually do this part. It works so well. I don't have to do the rest of the unmounting manually. Okay, let's see. CD, Elvis, okay. R-CJPF. Oops. C. Backup. Legally is the second. It started on the first. C. Nope, let's see, it's 225 1101. Delta.xz excludes equals. Right, so let me pick up my tablet for something you will not get to see. Okay. It's just a single clicked thing. Sources. Oop. Now you know what, I think I did that wrong trying to. Okay. Let's do. Okay. Oh! You know what? I'm not getting anything. I didn't do this. Yeah, I see progress. Yeah. Wow, that is a big one. That's doing. But that or it's trying to think of what to do. What are you doing? Why are you like black there? Is it just a big thing? I hope it's just a big thing. Stupid big if it is, though. Because the backup archive is compressed. Yeah, except if I did this right, I am skipping the backup archive entirely. Like saying, no, I don't want that directory because you stick too much there. Just too much. Especially since I don't have just the Linux from scratch sources. I have some of the second book's sources. I've got a bunch of extra packages for like games and personal stuff I want to try. Technically, I had Linux fully installed in here, but I basically feel like I gunked it up trying to get things to work. And then they still didn't, so I said, no, I need to update anyway. So we're just going to do the updates and we're just going to replace it all. Yes. Okay, I guess. Let me reset up my tablet. I guess while we wait on that to finish, if it ever does tonight, we technically did what we needed to do tonight. So, let us do Uh, here. Yeah. Okay. Let us come back to here. It shall stay down there until we, oh, shoot, it's twisting and turning and whee! There. It shall stay down there until we, see some action. Or see it actually blinking in. I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. Maybe I just need to move it over a little. Just did the work to correct it. I'll go to the right tool here. These. They don't like them. Oh, too far. Okay, let's try. This may not work either. Wait, I've done too many adjustments. It actually has like a limit. I've only done one of these, so let's see. Delete the frame. Reduplicate the frame. Go back to the onion skin. Okay. I think part of the problem I'm having is figuring out how I'm actually going to show that it's eating. Because the canvas size is actually like 64 by 64. And I'm not animating this in Godot, obviously. I'm actually on my tablet. Which is also part of the reason it's not a sprite, which might actually be better. But basically I have this square to handle all my animation. Oh hey, I moved on. It was just a really big chunk it was eating on, I guess. Basically, I'm so new to all of this that some of what I'm doing would be style challenges for other people as part of just keeping themselves trained up. I am stuck inside this little square as I animate everything. I don't know how I'm going to make him eat, because one of my enemy types was going to be little round blubbies that look vaguely like slimes with bunny ears, and they would just be food things. But oh wait, I'm not done yet. Let's see. Slimes with bunny ears and hunters, like stick figure hunters. One type has shotguns that reach like a quarter of the screen. The other kind they have rifles, which reach like half the screen. Now, I was originally going to have the rifles reach all the way across the screen, but then it's like, that's cheating for the game. That's a cheat. No. But the blobbies are probably going to be like 32 by 32. And the humans, the stick figures, are going to be probably, what, 32 by, what's 64 minus 16? What, like I'll get this eventually. 48, there we go. See? I got it eventually. Be like 32 by 48. I could technically fit Dino into like 64 by 48 if I shuffled the head across everyone a couple down, but he also does need room to do stuff. Like, rawr. And I didn't want to do two animations for eating, one to grab slime and the other to grab human. I'm trying to work on the frame between base and he has eaten. Like, I'm trying to basically do like keyframe animation where you make the keyframes and then do the in-betweens. At least that's the idea I have in my head of how we do this thing. The more I talk and more I babble, the more obvious it is that I have... Oh, hey, there's my computer mouse. Hello. Anyway, the more I talk, the more it's probably obvious that I haven't the faintest idea what I'm doing. I'm basically just sitting here trying to use time while I figure out what am I going to do, because I'm just like staring at this trying to imagine what I'm doing. How do I make this guy look semi-realistically like he's eating 64 by 64 inside that box? Let's see, like rear back a little, then spring forward with the open mouth, and then go jump. Because, let's see, if I do the people at 32 by 48, well, with the gun they'll probably go out to like 48 by 48 themselves. I've given myself a limit of 16 by 16 to 64 by 64 for sprite sizes. Like, yeah, most of the sound, extra sound is me going click, 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 click with my pencil. Okay. I think if I basically kind of have his mouth end on the center blue line, I'll probably work for the humans or in the center of the second box from up. Where's my pencil? On something. Basically, if he ends in this square, then that'll probably work. I don't know how well it'd look for the humans, because like you're biting down, but they're also bigger than you. That's where I'm thinking maybe I have to do a rear and then a lunge. But that's also a lot of frames that I am probably not going to be capable of doing. Like, physical capacity wise, probably not going to be able to do it. Excuse me. Guess I'll close the menu. Okay. Give him room to twist. You see? Okay. Give him more room to twist. I mean, he looks horrible in this state anyway. Probably as long as his mouth is ending in this line. Oh, hey! It's doing more! Some of these files are just huge, I guess, and they have to be squished properly. I think I'll have to turn the anti-skinning on and off. Yeah, a lot of fixing here. I think there's only one color that hasn't been saved in a bit. Okay. Like, two. Okay. Pencil. Shit. One color. Okay, gonna have to turn the onion skinning off so I can redraw this. It wasn't as much of a problem before when it was all completely outside the onion skin. I gotta do like reconstruction surgery here. First we get him to look semi-right. Oh, wrong color. Turn onion skinning back on. Gotta see. Okay. Got most of that fixed. Oh, I'm still in the eraser. Okay, see. He's going to look a little weird, missing his eye suddenly. I don't think we need to hear lore. Here, almost done, but still. Click skip, please. Thank you. It's like almost too fat on his chin here. Too fat on his chin. That's yours. There. I keep forgetting when I'm not running the pencil. When I'm not running the eraser. nope. This there, grab a little. Chopping, skinning. No. Okay, that worked. That worked finally. Well, duh. This is probably going to be another animation I end up finishing off stream because my god, I can't seem to figure out what I'm doing with it. Oh man, it looks so dumb, comparatively speaking. Okay, come back up here and give me my web pages over here. Okay. Alright. Wait, what time was it unmailed? We still got like half an hour to go. Let's go ahead and start. So, let's see. Wait, no, the-ish. There we go. So, let's see, go in here, then introduction. Okay, so with the section on package management, here is my solution. We go to user, we go to source. Notice it is empty. Yes, so ADR-V LFS, ADR-V LFS, ADR-V extra. 3 basic systems. And BLFS will have to have more just because there are so many packages it actually like fills up to an unorganizable level. But anything that's in these folders is otherwise supposed to be installed. And if it's not in these folders, then it should either exist as part of the system or be a not installed package, basically. It's a basic idea. Because the main sources directory that's used for building this stuff, that's only for the temporary. We don't use it for the permanent. It's way too unorganized. You can't really tell what's installed, what's not, what level you're at, unless you know where exactly you're looking. This, at least, you have some basic organization, especially if you don't exactly know where everything is. Like, I usually don't, but also you just want to verify what's part of which section, so you're not trying to like hunt around between the books all the time. Alright. We're gonna figure out, hey, was this part of a book or not? Let's see. So MPHV versus and pages. Something there that just shows. Might just be shadows in my brain. Alright. Around dash v and 3 crit snitch and make dash r get equals false prefix equals user install. Nope, wrong. See what's there. User install. There we go. That will be done fairly fast. Oh, jeez. Sorry. Dropped my keyboard. It's just kind of propped up on my lap. And I dropped it. It was embarrassing. There we go. VSB sources IANA RSXF IANA CD IANA CD services protocols etc. RSRF IANA. In a sense, this also gives a very fast and easy way to make sure, hey, what am I done with? Let's see, MBSB sources ETLibc TZ day. Oh, well, alright. Sources TZ. I think this is all we need for packages or the like files. Yes, because this time zone data, everything else is some manner of file. Yeah, it's a file. That's cool. I might just do the lazy way and do make install locales instead of typing all these out by hand. I hate typing those out by hand. Just a list of locales. Yeah, there are some things that I do not like doing. It mostly has to do with how much typing does it involve and how hard is it to do. Okay. I think I'm done with the prep stage for this. Alright, that's it. Nope, that's NV1 design. I honestly don't see why that's necessarily a problem that's non-FHS compliant. Like, at this point, FHS is like 21 years old from the last version. Do we need to keep following it? File grind. Do we need to care? We should probably care. Because that's like a... Oh, excuse me. That has to do with the... That has to debugger, basically. Yes, words. I am so good with words right now. I'm just like, the app's the best at words, guys. C, libc, rwlog, init, C. I think I have to actually div enter lines, which I usually try to avoid doing those because I don't like trying to mess it up. If I mess it up, I have the chance to go back normally, but this, I think I have to actually like add the, yeah, it doesn't have to do with the command, it has to do with what I'm actually adding. Let me make sure that so good. Okay. Let's see. RW log. Define. Don't define. Help if I spell it right. Initialized. Reset log. Did I get that line right? Look, define initialized. Okay. Here we go. MCPY and log and reset log size of log i.rich stdlib abort.c. Okay, nothing directly correct. Okay, let's see here. Build cd build config params to user as plain doesn't matter because it's just user fine anyway. Here, basic user disable here, disable NFCD. I don't care about this next one because it's removing libs64 and we don't need to care about that. Enable stack protector strong enable null equals fire for and just minute and we're going to be daring and skip the testing even though it's considered critical. We're going to just go touch ld.com and said test installation s at cache pearl at echo not running and I.edge take file I am burr. Nice city here. More because I think our heater's still broken. We actually need to like. No, it's not. It's not broken exactly. It's like completely wrong for our house. We technically got a mobile home, and it's like a dinky ass house heater, and it's like not supposed to be like that. So it can be like cold when it starts blowing over here in the office. Said, nope, RT, LD, list, equals S at user at G, user line LD. And we are going to skip this because I'm not going to deal with the rest of it. And make the cow data install those cows. I don't know why you want it to pop up Discord, but no. Yep, we are going to need to install a spare library because now it doesn't come with that library, or it uses that as a runtime dependency. Okay, the rest of this will be afterwards. After it generates. But oh no. Oh, whoop, I forgot this guy. There we go. Alright, so we're going to come back over here. PWD. Oopsie. We're going to just go a little early and start making these. So, and switch.conf. Alright. That. Then we have to do the time zone data. Yellow one. Alright, let's also go ahead and do etc. ldata.conf. See. Sure. Local lib and opt lib. SX. Alright, dump. Oh, God. Just like going bleh. Oh, forgot to add the extra line. Include, etc. Conf.d. Conf. Sorry, APR dash prv, etc. Conf.d. Go. So that chunk is done, and we just have to do the time zone data, and then we'll go. I should have the extra libraries downloaded, and we can jump right to it. Yeah, I have to figure out where I am. Okay, that goes back down while it's running. And we realize I just don't like the ice. Or, not the ice, the mouse. Mouth. Just how would you like your nuts? Mouth. I'm sorry? Mouth. The poor bunny is just traumatized forever. Maybe I just need to do it in black. I'm all twisted. Camps just looks upset, like. Well, I'm trying to animate you, little buddy. You know, you are like the hardest thing for me to animate. just looks like he's about to cry. Like, what's that? I'm not wearing a glove, that's part of the problem. I have a nice glove for this that I made myself, but it's also like starting to fall apart at the corner of the fingers. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Okay, I think my pencil has decided I don't want to keep doing this anymore. I'm just going to stop working. At least for a bit. Yep. Okay. I guess that's my signal that I'm getting close to the end of the stream. We're just basically going to put that away and... Oh, now you want to work. I'm not bringing it back up right now. We'll just watch GLFC build itself for the final time. The second time, but the final time. Yes. It makes more sense in my head. It is at least something to look at for the stream. Whatever is left of the stream. Like 14 minutes or so? Thereabouts? I will listen to music. And I wonder how are we going to animate someone going nom, nom, nom. Times like this, I wish I could afford to pay somebody to make me the animations. They probably do a really good job at it. I'm probably also gonna need to just do some sprite research on, hey, let me try to find dinosaurs and animals in games. Then check how they ate. If they even did that. Maybe I'm trying to go too advanced, or at least too complex by trying to make an eat animation. Just feel like, it's an important thing you do. Yeah, you should technically at least look like you're eating something. I don't plan to have a button press for it explicitly, you get on the collision and then you go You might have to specially craft the collision boxes though, because part of Dino's collision is like way below the rest of him. And I might need to do special just to make the eating work. I just wanted to make a dino game, and I went super overboard like this. Just the planning. want you to finish while we sit here, but I don't know that you're quite going to. Come on, Gypsy. Build faster. But actually, I think you're building about as fast as you actually can right now. Because I only have 4 gigs of memory on this thing, which is why it's got 16 gigs of swap. But it is like, yeah, at least on my preview of the stream, it is like going, whee! It's just like zooming. It can go fast when it wants to, like stupid fast, like almost at risk of, hey, are you sure you're actually doing everything in the right order fast? Such is the power of the -J option with Make on reasonably new computers. If you try to use it on a reasonably old computer though, you'll actually make it slow way the heck down. I learned this the hard way. My very, very old computer that I still have, that's still kicking, that was actually the reason my husband got me this computer, the exact one we're combining on. It's only got 2 cores. If you try to tell Make to compile with the max number of cores, it will actually, it normally defaults to like trying to do 4. It'll actually slow down to only 2. And it will be an even slower slog than normal. It's not fun, it's not great. And this HP computer happened because I was on that ThinkPad, but barely. It like barely worked. I think it was on Linux by that point too. Or maybe I installed Windows Education because I got it for free through my college, but it was still like struggling to run properly at all, because this thing is from like 2010, 2012-ish, based on the compile date of the BIOS. It is not recent. It is not really meant for the modern age. It is as a big chunky old school business style laptop. It barely likes dealing with Ubuntu server, because I decided, you know what, I'll just stop Ubuntu server on here and I'll start forcing it to go up and up and up until it gets to the very tippy top beginning. And yeah, it can handle the server parts without a graphical desktop environment. Kind of okay. Like, it's better than under graphics, but it's still like trying to herc there. And in trying to make this all work as I want, whenever I try to add the graphics, it's like, yeah, I swear the computer's lagging. It's basically a very old computer. Like, when it runs, it still runs pretty well. But it's a 2-core processor, 4 gigs of memory, which with the 2 cores makes it even more limited. It's honestly, we're well past its prime. But the only thing that would really help is if I could replace the BIOS implementation. You know, it's got a really early implementation of EFI, and I'm pretty sure I actually burnt that thing out trying to make it work with Linux from scratch, because the way EFI bootloaders get installed is, at least these days, they install under the preferred name for whatever the bootloader is, and then they install a backup. Like, if the preferred name doesn't work, then usually the bootloaders will look for a hard-coded name, and it can at least boot off that, but it's not reliable. problem is that I think I managed to burn out the EFI implementation. It doesn't even like actually doing the automatic boot version where you don't need to pass a root to it. It just kind of goes, yeah, no, I don't know what I'm looking for. But I know under various flavors of Ubuntu, it does at least boot without needing extra gizmos and gadgets and stuff, so we'll just go to that. We'll stick with it. If I really want to put Linux from scratch on it, that's where I have to use grub. Even though I hate grub. Oh god, I hate grub. Grub is like ancient. Grub should have died a decade ago. It is just... It is very clearly from when master boot records ruled the world. It's still basically designed around that, but also you can have customization because I guess that's really a big thing in the older circles of Linux still. It's like, customize everything. Make it yours. You have to make it like custom, like super custom. Even though, what is the goddamn point of customizing a bootloader? Are you really expecting to stay on there for hours and hours and hours at a time? There are... I think it was originally more for like letting a distro customize it, or if you're going to make a version for your company or stuff, but honestly, this day and age, computers usually load faster than you need the bootloader, and a lot of systems started moving towards, yeah, we don't really need to show the bootloader, especially if it's like the only thing there. And now there's options from the operating system to forcibly show the boot menu if you need it, but yeah, I guess I'm trying to say there's a lot of things you used to do that now that computers have evolved, there really isn't a need for them, no matter how much people might wail and cry out and gnash the teeth over things were better when we had this thing. It's like, were they though? Were they? Or do you just miss how much pride you felt after you got it all installed and done and made it work? Because let me tell you, there's some pride in getting it all to work. There's also the forgetting of how much work it actually was to get it all working once you're done with that. And the forgetting of the fact that once you've set a lot of these customizations, you're probably not going to do it again unless you're just that much of a nut for changing up your look like every single time you boot, or like every second time you boot. I guess with some of these people it'd be like every 57th boot you need to show something new. I mean, that's the way it feels sometimes. I'm basically just babbling while I let this thing go whee on the screen. And probably I'm just kind of killing time here as well, because I don't want to try looking at my animation effort again. I spent all night trying to do one, and I have gotten nowhere. And at this point, yeah, my pencil's working, but I don't know if it's just working outside my drawing app, or if it's just... I don't know. I'm also tired. Brain no worky anymore. Me no think. Or, okay, me no think well. Yes, we are upon the time. We are upon the time. I should give it some more minutes to just see if we can potentially get to the install the time zone data part. Come here. We shall see if it does that. Because then when we pick this back up, we're going to skip technically ahead to install a dependency that it needs. Because I'd rather do all the dependencies in line. There's also the caveat that systemd depends on a lot of stuff, like not necessarily directly, but it does a lot of runtime stuff, but it will also enable certain things if it picks up those libraries. So it's like, you use a lot of stuff, dude. For all that's been kind of hard to learn how the heck to manage systemd, it's also been easier than, okay, where in these very, very oblique scripts is the one thing I'm looking for at? I need to enable this thing so that I can run this thing. Do I do it based on a run level? Do I do something else? How the heck is this thing written? Why is it like 20 layers of complex? Why does it almost feel like I'm trying to read assembler here? I do not miss System 5 scripting at all for just running the system. Like, the daemon style of managing a system is like 20 times better, even if the files are still somewhat oblique. But hey, at least the options are actually human readable. Like, I can read and I go, oh yeah, I think I know what that means, even if I've never actually heard of the concept before, sometimes. It's certainly a lot easier to diagnose a problem, I'll say that. It'll actually spell it out in human language instead of just whatever somebody else thought was human sounding. It's fair. Ancient computers had no room for anything. What are you doing? You're spitting out you. Okay, I'm done with what I was doing. I'm done with animating for the night. And you are... you are spitting out stuff. Okay. To the end. So, yes, you are being kicked out. Go home. Goodbye. See you next weekend. Hopefully. Bye-bye.